then there are days where I can, I look for a specific song for a mood, Yeah.
So let's talk about the music journey. How has it been for you? And where did it start?
Up and down, very, very unexpected. This is, for me, this was, I'm 51, yeah? My first journey in music was, properly with a band, was in my 20s. I'd been in bands in high school, and I, performed as a kid. But my first journey in music was in Jerusalem, 3 years, full out rock band. And when it didn't happen for us financially, I moved on to other stuff. Went into a career in journalism, diplomat, you know the story. When it was reborn again in Kenya.
All this time when you're doing journalism?
Nothing. Music was in the shower, in the car, with the kids.
Okay.
But not, never writing, nothing. Didn't pick up a kid guitar unless it was for fun at home, really. Fast forward, like 20-something years, and I found myself singing again, getting up on stage to sing with a band in Kenya, in Nairobi. And kept coming back to sing again. And developed Swahili covers.
How was that for you? Just learning Swahili?
Was it easy? And the crowd responded incredibly.
How was learning Swahili for you? Was it easy?
No, I learned Swahili because I was living here.
Yeah.
Okay, not easy, but just part of life. Yeah. And you pick up kidogo kidogo as you go along. But the music-wise, that was just, I really fell in love with Ali Kiba's Cinderella and learned to play it on acoustic.
Okay.
So I learned how to play it on acoustic and came back to the band and said, I can sing this, let's try.
Yeah.
And when I did it in the bar, like the crowd was like, what's going on? It was like that kind of response.
Yeah.
And then I kept picking up other songs. Kidum is a friend of mine. We rehearsed today in the same space.
Yeah.
So he finishes a rehearsal, and me and the band, we come into the next rehearsal.
Yeah.
And he knows that I cover Haturudi Nyuma for years. I've been covering that song. I sang it with him once. Yeah. So there are songs that I really enjoy singing, and eventually I wrote my own. At that time, Wendy Kimani was singing with the band. I asked Wendy to come in on the song, and Najua was born, and a music career was kind of reborn in Kenya. And back then, to prove to myself that I wasn't like a one-hit wonder, I did Sema Milele, and then I went on to Nakuahidi, which won an award, and Salama, and Rangia Bahari, and the songs are there. And then Afrima came later in 2017 when we won. We won twice in Afrima. And that was like representing Kenya, which was a big deal for me. That's important to me,
Because of the whole process of just learning Swahili, getting to go and having fun with a band and realizing, okay, I can actually do this.
It's the music, but the music kind of came together with my own relationship with Kenya, okay? So on and off, I've been here since 1996, was the first time I came to Kenya. And now here we are, 2023, that's like what, 27 years later. And it's the same time as I'm married to my wife, because I proposed after our trip to Kenya.
Interesting.
So literally, my relationship with Kenya is the same as, how long we've been together. Of course, Sema Milele was written, for her.
Wow.
So that relationship with Kenya has developed all the way to today, when I'm a Kenyan citizen and very proud of that. Kenyans look at me like, what's up with you? What's your story?
So how long did you how long did you live in Kenya just for you to be a citizen?
By law, you have to be here minimum 7 years consecutive. I came back, not diplomat doesn't count, because that's like you're a representative of another country here. So that doesn't count as your time. I came back to work for Amiran in 2009, and I've been here since, so that's 14 years. I applied for citizenship in 2016, and it took 6 years to get it.
And you posted about it, and people embraced it.
I posted along the journey. I kept kind of like everything except tagging the Minister of Immigration. Like, we are waiting, it's been a long time. But the best sign for me in the process was when I went to, during COVID, is when I was called for my interview. So they invite you for an interview, and you sit in front of all of the directors of immigration, Ministry of Labor, all the people who approve, and the senior people in government, So they ask you, each of them asks you 2 questions. general knowledge about, half Kenyans wouldn't know the answers either. Name counties, who's the governor of this, who was the minister of this, what are your rights, what are your obligations now as a citizen? And I answered, I did well, I'm like I studied, whatever. Anyway, I did well. And you get to the end, and you get back to the head director, and he says, okay, well, thank you for answering our questions. We have one more request. Would you mind singing for us? And just then we had released Swahili Girl. And the deputy director of immigration said, could you sing Swahili Girl? Literally got up and sang Swahili Girl a cappella. Oh, yo, yo, Swahili Girl. And when you walk out of that meeting, you're like, for sure I'm going to get this. You know, for sure they'll say yes. If they ask me to sing, I must be in a good place,
if they
right?
know you like that.
I must be in a good place. Sure enough, it took another year after that. And, you know, got my stamp.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What I've gotten is, you can do all these things if you just put your mind to it.
Yeah, you know, I've been quoted before saying, and I believe this, that we are not here placed on this planet to do one thing. Even the most average person who thinks, you know, so you ask someone to introduce themselves, and they, you know, they say, I'm this and that, and they tell you the job. But you also may be a mother or a brother, and you also have a hobby, and you're also good at something, and you find out very quickly that each of us is actually doing 5, 10 things,
True.
I'm just louder about it, but I also do, you know, but once you get into the public space, then more people know what you're doing, and I'm happy to share, especially on the farming, because obviously I have an agenda, not just a business agenda, but it's also, I've been on this journey for almost 20 years of believing that the most available way for us in Kenya/Africa to make money is agriculture. The world has nowhere left to grow its food, and they're looking to us. So instead of foreigners coming in here, taking the land and doing it, let's learn to do it ourselves. You know, you talked earlier about youth, but youth is the age of startupism, right? Israel is the startup nation. Israel has more startup companies. You don't know this, okay? But the tablet you're holding in your hand, the phone, your laptop, all of them work because of chips and stuff created in Israel. Israel is the startup nation, okay? Even drip irrigation, all of that, Now, if you think about the people who are creating those startups, they are in their 20s, early 30s. If you're 50 in Israel in high tech, you're not relevant anymore, It's a very young business, The same here, okay? If the youth were to get in, and they are. You see it everywhere. A lot of my garlic customers are young, If the youth get in front of this African agribusiness revolution, okay, then when the world needs a place to grow its food, we give them a bill, not we give them the land. We do it and we tell them, here's the bill, here's the bill, because we have the skills and the experience. You might not have gone to university to study agriculture, but if you've grown, the guy running our farm, okay, who works on our farm, he doesn't come from agriculture. We hired him 3 years ago when we were digging the beds, and he was very, how do you call it, someone who works really, he was quickly working and very skillful, very talented, and seemed honest. Now, 3 years down the journey, he has more experience growing garlic in Kenya than most farmers, than most professors in university here.
So you don't have to go to school for it.
Experience is the best teacher.
True.
I'm not saying school is bad, university, whatever, don't quote me badly. I'm just saying, if you can't afford it, or if all you can do is do something and learn that, experience is the best teacher, you know. I'm back in studio recording a song. Sorry, I'm jumping around.
I was to ask about
I'm in studio recording a song. I was on, you know, we posted, of course, together with MG. MG is the same producer who created Unajua, who created Sema Milele, Nakuahidi, Rangi ya Bahari, Salama. We've been together from the beginning.